When it comes to using a line on the ball, there are times when I use it and times when I don't. And for some golfers, that line tends to get a little confusing, and I guess that's why some players go away from it. But we're going to talk about those critical situations today where I don't use it, because the reasons for using it are obvious. It's for alignment. But the reasons I don't use it at times might be a little less obvious. Let's go take a look. Quick question for you, do you use the line? Yes or no? Just put it in the comments below. If you're a no, give me a little detail. Did you do it once upon a time, or have you just never tried it? The obvious reason for using the line on the ball is obviously alignment. So if we line the ball up correctly to our starting line, then we're able to use that as a reference to make sure that our putter face is aligned as well as we possibly can to the starting line. For me, the biggest reason why I do it, it boosts my confidence. I feel like alignment is not in question. I feel like I've done a nice job. Once I've aimed the golf ball correctly, match it up with my putter, and then it's just make a good stroke. There's not a question in the back of my mind, am I aimed well? Am I aimed at my target? Now, I'm not always perfect, but nonetheless, I feel like I'm off to a really good start and a big chance of hitting a good putt. As I said, in most situations, I do use the line, probably 95% of the time. In particular, I really like to use it on putts that are 10 feet and in, and that's when I'm really paying attention to make sure that that line is lined up well. Those are the putts, obviously, that we want a high chance of making. 95% of the time I use the line, the 5% of the time that I don't, that's what we're going to look at right now. The times where I don't use the line on the golf ball, it might happen just once or twice a round. It might not even happen that often. It might be every few rounds. What'll happen for me is I get over a right to left putt of about 6 to 10 feet long. And if it has more than 6 inches of break, let's say it has 6, 8, 10 inches of break, often I'll sit that ball down and I will stand behind it. It'll look exactly as I want it. I'll stand over the top of the ball, and the line on the ball and the line on my putter won't match up. It looks strange. Typically, it looks like the line on the ball is too low. So I know it's in the right spot, but for whatever reason, when I stand over it, things just don't match up. And that influences my confidence. So it starts to question myself, okay, is it aimed well? Am I not aimed well? Which one is correct? So what I do in that case, I'm going to share with you right now. This right here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So this one here, maybe it's a 6-footer, some right to left break. And this is a kind of putt, once I look at it, the line looks good. When I stand over the top, it doesn't look like it's aiming where it needs to aim. It looks like it's aiming way too low. So what I'll do in this situation is come on in, I'll reset the ball, I'll clean it out. So now I've got no markings. I'm going to trust myself. I've got to back myself in this situation here. So I'm just going to pick my line, I'm going to trust it, and then I'm going to pull the trigger. Sometimes you just have to back yourself. That line brought in a question mark for me about where I was aiming. I didn't know which one to trust. So in the end, I've got to go with myself. Let's chat about the line on the ball for a second. There's different ways of doing it, and I don't add any lines to the golf ball. Most balls these days have something written along the side to help you with that alignment, but a lot of people like to put a black line on the golf ball, and it definitely does help. It really stands out. I personally just don't like having that big black line on there. I like to keep my ball pretty clean. I've got my identification markings on the ball, and that's about it. But I'm going to put some links down below to where you can check out on Amazon some really good products to help you if you want to draw that line on there. If you do draw that line, make sure you draw a really nice, good straight line. You will find it is going to take some practice to get good at aiming that ball. So take the effort, make sure you practice it. Practice it on the putting green. This is going to be one of those things where practice and reps really makes perfect, because you're going to line that ball up. you'll think it's lined exactly where you want it to. You'll walk back and it's not lined up correctly. And again, I think that this is part of the reason why people go away from it. Just stick with it, make sure that you practice it, and you'll get really good at aiming it, and you'll get to the point where you pretty much put it at your starting line target almost first time every time. Every now and then you're going to have to make a little adjustment here or there, but take the time to do that, take the time to practice it as well. Now I also want you guys to be careful that you don't make these common mistakes. Mistake number one is not actually getting down behind the ball and taking the time to line it up. Often I see people make this very mistake and they're off to a bad start. Don't stand over it, make the adjustment right on top. This is a terrible perspective. We need to be down behind it, low, so that we can get that lined up as well as we can. Even still, we're going to make some mistakes here. Once we've done this, we go back and we check it. If everything looks good from here, then great. Now go through your routine. Trust that your aim is going to be good. If it doesn't look good from here, come on in, make the adjustment, go back and check it, and then now we're good. Now let's pull the trigger. Now obviously I am on the putting green, hence why I am not using a ball marker. I don't think you need to when you're practicing on the putting green. Just make sure that you remember to use your ball marker on the course anytime you're going to put your hands on it when you're on the green. Well guys, that is a wrap for today. I really hope that if you're someone that's gone away from using the line, that you try this out. Again, I'm a sometimes guy. I'm a most of the time guy when it comes to the line. Give it a try. If you've never tried it, have a crack at it, because it really does help. At least just give you a little bit of peace of mind that you're aiming in the right direction. It's going to take some practice, but in all honesty, just stick with it, and I think you're going to see some really good benefits. Please go ahead and hit the like button. If you feel like you need to do so, leave me a comment and let me know if there's something else I can help you with. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, until next time, good golfing.